This is part two. I'm on with my parents, the original Arlington Jones Sr., my dad, and my mom. She's the original as well, Myra Jones. So we were talking about yeah, different stories and different things, and yeah, you all were bringing up, Dad. You were talking about, yeah, being able to, the natural thing of, that the music being art, and I was just saying that meant a lot to me, even hearing you say that, and for me maturing into understanding, in church setting, from starting when I was really young, and then to being able to play all the way through when I was going to college, but it took me a while to mature into the point of understanding as I was growing and trying to figure out my art, but also being able to do the job well in church of not making it so art sophisticated that you wouldn't know what was going on. And being able to understand that there are times when the church comes together, sings songs together, and different things like that. um, so I know you all had mentioned, what I wanted to ask about was, you all had mentioned about me being different, just hearing things my own way and certain things, and I think that's really key, even in this new album, The Soul of Him, because once you listen to it, it is definitely the way I hear it, and everything. But I was gonna say my other recollection is that, in the summers I always loved, what we had, Vacation Bible School,
Um,
and you all led that, and Mom, led Vacation Bible School. I was gonna ask about, used to get these packets that had the curriculum and they
yeah,
had a song book.
right.
I know I was the I'd be the musician or the piano player for the entire week of Vacation Bible School during the summer. But my recollection is that I always, there was a theme song in the book, but
Yes.
my recollection is like, I don't like this. Can I change it? Or can I write a new one or whatever? But I don't know. I wanted to get you all's um, recollection of what that was and what I was doing at that time.
Yes. The Vacation Bible School theme always had a theme song, as you said, and the theme song was arranged by whoever it was arranged by, and so right, you didn't like the arrangement, and so yeah, and basically we were happy that you were willing to write a theme song that went along with the theme. And the theme song that you wrote, the kids loved it. Um, and Jerome Fellows still remembers some of those songs. And he remembers things that I don't remember. And so he's telling me to teach the kids today. But yes, and so the songs that you wrote were songs that really reached the young people that we were working with, and so those went over much better, and uh, they learned them. They learned the scriptures, and we had fun with them and everything. So yes, we were glad that you were able to do that, and that you did hear it in a way that reached the young people at that time.
Okay, yeah. And I remember, Dad, I guess, you had kind of, I guess, spoke to that earlier, but I was going to say, I know you always been a deacon and, one of the leaders of the church, but I was going to say, and I know during the service, you all had time where you all led part of the service, but I was going to say, what I remember is that you and the others were always very supportive of me. So you allowed me to be able to rewrite songs and do the thing how I want to do it during Vacation Bible School. I don't ever remember anybody coming to me saying, we can't do this like this or whatever. I'm sure now that I'm older, there may have been talk about certain types of things that I was playing. I don't know. But
Uh,
as far as what was told to me, um, yeah, everybody, you all were always very supportive, and allowed that creativity and allowed me, to be able to do that. I was going to say that for me now, one thing that I remember was like the joy of hearing people, and like especially young kids, which I still love that now. And I was the same age as them. during that time because I was a kid as well. But being able to hear other people sing things that you had created in your mind, and what I knew early on, it was like the Lord giving me wisdom and filling me with creativity, which I believe He does that for everybody in whatever area you work in. But so I knew that always. I never questioned that. But it was the joy of like then once I wrote it and then teaching it and then hearing it and like mom saying, they enjoyed it. But for me it was like I longed for that. Then it was like the joy of hearing that come together. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me that had really kind of shaped even what I do today.
Right.
But I don't know, Dad. Yeah, if you had any thoughts or anything that I've forgotten to remember from what I said, you can correct me.
No, there's no correction, but I think, going back to the Vacation Bible School songs, uh, the way the original, I guess, artists wrote them, they were pretty straightforward. But with your interpretation, it spoke more culturally to us, to our hearts and our experiences. And I think that's what the young people also tapped into, and that's why it made such a great impression on them that they still remember, even as now many of them are adults.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So that. Oh, go ahead.
Well, and I think the deacons, the trustees, the whole church, um, they tapped into the vision of a fresh breeze, something different, you know.
Okay.
And so I think that that was good. Even the other musicians at the church, you know, they were. I mean, you were young, but they were following your lead in a lot of ways, uh, realizing that God had placed all of these things in you. And so, yeah, I think the church embraced you and embraced the gift and talents that you had. And so it all went well because you remember, uh, I believe you played drums as well. So you played
Yeah.
drums, and then after you came back from college, you were playing the organ, keyboard, whatever was there, you were playing it. And so that was a good thing, and it was good for the other young people to see what could be done with all the gifts that God gives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and also, the lifeblood of any church is the continual infusion of new people. And what the deacons and trustees saw was your music appealed to the young people. Okay. And so they were all in favor of bringing more young people into the church. And so they were totally behind what you were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would
And
say it
I.
appealed to the old people as well.
Okay.
They were shouting around too.
Well, that's cool. Well, yeah. I guess I can't. That even I feel not old in my body or whatever, but in age I know I'm older now. But even hearing you all say that now, that still that means a lot to me. To hear that. I was gonna say one thing that I don't know that I've really said publicly, but is that I should mention because of what we're talking about now is that just the support is that once I finished, college, grad school, the church was first to hire me,
Okay.
and that really stuck with me too. And like you all saying, some of the things you all are making reference to, I know that was a huge statement of me being able to come back and having that support and getting hired. Um, uh, to be there at the church and continue, yes, the writing and doing different things because I realized when I look back it's like I wasn't yeah, my first thing was always to write something. I never went to something that was already written.
Mhm.
And so then I thought, well, man, they never get to sing a lot of stuff that, you know, a lot of churches were doing things that was, you know, whatever was the popular thing in the day. And I guess did some of that. But for me, now looking back, it was like I always just went straight to, and not that I didn't like other things, but it was, I guess I see it as that it was, I just felt like I was bubbling over with so many things. And so I, what I felt most invested in was continuing with whatever I felt like God had given me, and you know, really getting that out. And so I appreciate. I do know, and I do remember, yes, all the support and everything. And so I wanted to say publicly because I wanted people to know that that was a huge thing. Because yeah, I was hired even after finishing my degrees and everything, coming back, and you know, that was really big at the time. I was newly married, you know, we were just trying to, you know, figure everything out. And so that was huge in my life at that time.
Yeah.
Right, right.
But the partnership was really mutually beneficial to the church because each church, uh, you know, they really are overjoyed when they can see young people grow up in their church, go away to college, earn a degree, and then come back and still be part of the church. So, you know, it allows the church to stick their chests out. Okay. And so, you
Yeah,
know, it was a mutual benefit on both sides.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
And I think
Okay.
the choirs, as you wrote songs and things, I was thinking of one of them. I don't know why it came to me today. One of the songs that you had written for the choir, and
Hmm.
so I was wondering if those songs were going to ever resurface. But those were some great songs.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
great songs.
It's funny you say that because that's what I was gonna kind of end with, was that, you know, I did the solo hymn, but I, you know, nothing has changed with me. Hearing what you all are saying, for me, now in, you know, being 48 years old right now, I was like, not much has changed as far as how I am as a person, because I still feel like I'm bubbling over
Mhm.
with getting music out and different things. And so yes, there a lot of these songs that we're talking about haven't even been recorded yet. So I have long list of things to do, but I think it's time now to, you know, also um yeah, address that. I admit, even on social media recently, someone put up a note. They were saying, "Oh yeah, the solo hymn got that," or something like that. But they mentioned one of these songs. It happened to be one of the choir songs. They're like, "I'm
Yeah.
still singing that," so I'm waiting on that to be put on. You know,
Right.
I
Right.
say put on wax. I'm old school, so I would put on wax. They didn't say it like that, but I knew what they meant was that, you know, I'm getting some of those songs out as well. So.
Right. Right.
So yeah, that is definitely on the list as well. As well.
Right.
Well, um, if you all didn't have any other stories you wanted to tell, um,
Well,
I
I've
guess
got
we
one
can.
that's not
Okay,
musically related, but it
okay,
kind of ties to your personality. You said
okay.
you're 48 now and nothing has changed, but I see you're wearing your hair short. Well, when when you were younger and you had limits as to you had limits as to uh, how how much you would be willing to entertain other people. For instance, like you started speaking at a young age, and so people would keep asking you to say your name, and you would do
Mhm.
it so often, and then once you got tired of it, you would stop. Well, getting back to your hair length, um, you used to like to go with your grandmother. Okay. And I think there's one instance where you weren't able to do that, and she was leaving from our house, and you were upstairs, and you come sliding down the stairway like on a sled. Okay,
Okay.
you wouldn't walk down, but you slide down like a sled. But when you became angry because you couldn't go with her, then you started pulling your hair out. So that That has changed.
Right. That has not changed. Hope would probably, my wife Hope would probably definitely sign off on that. It's like he has not changed at all. I've switched to now. She says that I sit here and I'm picking and I'm pulling out hairs out of my face or different things like that. But I'm sure she's talking about more my attitude or different things of how I'll double down on certain things that I haven't changed at all. She probably say he's probably even more determined to double down on whatever. So yeah, I don't remember that, but I've heard that story many times. So I do remember. I know that did happen, but that is funny because I feel like I guess I haven't. In my mind I'm thinking, man, I've evolved and I'm maturing and getting better. But then hearing these stories is like you kind of still the same person that you've always been. So that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
It's a good thing to always want to be the best at what you were doing when you were growing up with your brother and sister. I mean, we always taught you that the Bible says you're first and not the last, and so you're supposed to be the head and not the tail, and so you're supposed to be your best at what you do, and so that seemed to have been something that God just placed in you, and it was already built in to you to be the best at what you were doing. And if something came up that you didn't feel like you wanted to do, then you didn't do it. And so it didn't matter. You just didn't do it. And so I mean, we saw that at a very, very young age. And so that I guess that hasn't changed either.
Yeah, I was gonna say that has not changed. It probably has gotten. I'm even more determined. Yes, that hasn't changed at all. Okay. So hearing you all say that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Well, I really appreciate you all. I mean, I've said it to you all quite a bit, but I love you all, and I really appreciate. I want people to understand that. Of course, I came from you all. That's obvious, but just for me, the level of people understanding that I wouldn't be here and doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for what you all did for me and for my brother and sister as well, but the sacrifices you all made and just the exposure and what you all gave us opportunity to be able to touch and experience and do. And so I look back on those times, and that to me still hadn't changed, even though we're grown now, that you all still are giving us those types of things. But it really means a lot to me because I'm so thankful to have been able to have all the piano lessons and then the drum lessons and all the other experiences and the opportunities that we had. And hearing you all talk today it has confirmed even more as some of the things that you all brought up that I, had forgotten or didn't remember, of how much all of the things that you gave us has really shaped and allowed us to be, the type of people that we are. And you're right, you taught us to be ones that we want to be a blessing to other people at the end of the day, to put it in a simple kind of thing. You want to live for God and be a blessing to other people. And so for me, I knew that, never questioned that. And I'm still that same person, even today. And so I love you all so much, and I appreciate it.
The tap dancing.
Now I admit I didn't. Now that I've seen Gregory Hines and is it Sabian Glover?
Okay,
is that his name? Yes, I would love to have that skill to be able to do that. But what I remember early on was, I guess there were girls and guys in the classes, and when they had me trying to put my hands on my hips and heel tap, I was like, I'm not with this. So I know that was one of the things you all were giving me that I was fighting against. That I was like, I'm not feeling this. But I do appreciate that. that opportunity now. I
Oh,
feel like it's been
rhythm.
passed on to my kids because both of them can dance. And
Yes.
of course, Hope can dance. I'm still not really the greatest dancer, but
But it helps with rhythm.
Yeah.
So
yes, yes. So I'll definitely take that because for me, yes, the different rhythms and with the drums and the tap dancing and playing the piano, to me, all that goes together. So I hadn't even really thought about that, but you're right about that, tap dancer. So I'll keep that in mind with that. Yes, I'm so happy. So I could give up the hands on the hips and all that.
oh, that's funny.
But cool. All right. Well, thank you all so much. I appreciate your time and being able to share. This has been fun. So getting to
Yes.
talk to you and hearing you talk. So thank you all so much.
All right. Thank you for including us.
All
We
right.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Okay. I did too.